Hey there, I'm back with a little bit more technical advice. I had a rather long video previously on how to get set up on Twitch and how to install Open Broadcaster software, otherwise known as OBS, on your computer so that you could stream your videos to Twitch. So see that video for more of that info. What I want to show you today is my setup. So let me show you my desktop here. So you can still see me. This is what I got. This is my OBS window down here. This is how I ran this morning's morning prayer service. So I have my OBS window down here. You can kind of see that this has the preview of what goes on the screen. So for our service, I just had mine on full screen cam the whole time so that people would see me. I didn't want them to see my desktop, obviously, but I'm giving you a little sneak peek here. So let me give you a little better idea of what we're dealing with. Okay, so I have four things that are on my desktop here. One is OBS. The other is the sound control thing. I'm on a Mac. One thing that you need to know about Mac is that it will automatically adjust the input level on your microphone. In previous versions, you could turn that off, but in Catalina, it looks like you can't. It is always automatic, and I wanted this up here so that if it felt that I was getting too loud and turning me down, or if it felt that I was getting too quiet and started turning me up, I wanted control over that so that I could adjust that right there without going to another screen, as minimal of a distraction from the worship service as possible. So these are the two, just kind of the utilities that I wanted to have at the bottom of my screen while I was doing all that, have those readily accessible. And the other thing that let me do is it let me be able to see and make sure I knew that they were seeing what I wanted them to see in this preview window. Okay. So then when you hit the start streaming button, that's what actually makes it live. And you can see more about that in my other video. Here's the other thing that I have open. I have I'm on a Mac, so I'm using Notes. I just made some brief notes for welcome remarks to make at the beginning before we started our service. I like to get on a little bit early and just kind of hang out for those 15 minutes or so while people are navigating to the website and getting on. And, I can't see them. We can't interact when I'm just going through Twitch. It's kind of a one-way thing. But being able to just talk about things, I had some books ready at hand so that I could give some book recommendations and talk about those a little bit before our service began. So if you were on early, you got kind of a little bonus. We've also been doing, I don't know how well this is going to come across here, but we've been doing Lent Madness brackets. And so I had that I could share. And you can kind of see a little bit. I've got my home altar behind me, and I did a video about that earlier, but just kind of having things that are there that I can comment on and have kind of a friendly presence while we're all gathering, kind of the way you would in person, when I'm just hanging out in the parish hall. And as people are coming into worship, I'm able to greet them and give them, a smile and, hey, how you doing? And so it being a one-way thing, I had to improvise and make some different way of having some meaningful presence for them to be inviting and welcoming. So then right before our service began, I had just some things to mention in the welcome. We're glad you're here if you're following along. Where to find the link for that. We're going to do a virtual coffee hour on Zoom after, and the link there is on the webpage. And Holy Week is coming up, so here's what you need to know for that. I did a little preview for our homily. Just, hey, when you hear the gospel, these are some things to keep in mind. And then I have just some bullet points for my actual homily. I am not, you can't see that. Here you go. Just some bullet points for things, right? Bullet points for welcome, bullet points for getting people ready to hear the gospel. And then when we start our actual service, we get into it. And then I have the homily following immediately after the gospel. So just some things For me, it's easy to keep it real small like that. I am not a manuscript preacher. I have tried to be, and that's just not, I can do it. There are certain occasions where it's important to have a very well thought out, well edited, well rehearsed manuscript. But most of the time for the weekly Sunday services, I like to prepare by getting some ideas and some themes into my mind and my heart and meditating on those. And maybe just having a few bullet points, some things that I want to make sure I hit. And for the most part, it helps me to be present with the people in the room. If I know the 2 or 3 things that I want to say, and then we kind of weave those together in person. That's hard to do through a screen, I'm finding out, but that's kind of my style. So that's when you see how little I have for a homily on my screen in these notes, that's why. This is a pretty good amount for me. Sometimes I've done more notes, sometimes I have shockingly done less. But being able to have something on the screen here to prompt me with what I want to say in the homily, and then I don't have to change windows. I don't have to. I have my liturgical binder at the ready with the full service printed out in here, just in case something happened. I was ready to go, but I really didn't want to be doing the whole service looking down like this or blocking the microphone or any of that. I wanted to make sure that I'd be able to look up toward the camera as much as possible, because the camera is where your congregation's eyes are. So it's important to look there. For Mac users, it should be a little green light, a little friendly green light, not an angry red light, just a friendly little green light. Green means go, right? Green means happy. Okay. So here's the last thing I want to show you. I found this literally this morning as I woke up and was watching the East Coast churches start to do their services, and I saw a link to something called Venite.app. I thought, what's that? And I open it up, and it is a customizable liturgy that you can do morning prayer, and you can select, which canticles and psalms and hymns and all the readings in there, what prayers you want to have, and you just select all those options, and then you can get a shareable link, share bulletin link, that other people can open it up. And the great thing is it's mobile friendly. So I'll take you over here, and one of the things, I've taken it down now. One of the things we've been doing is I've been making PDFs, so you could print out the liturgies on your own. I'll open this up just as a sample, and it looks nice, right? But it's formatted for 8.5 by 11. It's designed to be printed out. This isn't something that's going to be as easy to follow along with on a smartphone screen. So if you're a parishioner sitting at home and you're streaming the service on the website, for us, that's through Twitch. So this would be live, or here, on Vimeo. Where'd it go? You'd be able to have that open on your laptop, and you'd be able to have the liturgy open on your phone to follow along with, or vice versa, however you want to do it. And being able to use this app makes it much easier for folks who are relying on their smartphones for that. So I was very excited to find that, and I wanted to share that with you as well. So this is what I'm learning so far. If you find any other tips for running services online, please let me know. This is what's been working for me. Stay safe, wash those hands, stay inside. And I was thinking, was there anything else I wanted to share with you? I think that pretty much got. Oh, yeah, there is. I almost said goodbye too quickly. I'm going to take you back in over here. Okay, so let's say you stream your service on Twitch, and you want your videos to show up later. You get this screen. Looks like you don't have any videos yet, even though you just broadcast. There's a setting that you need to flip on that will let your videos be visible. So I showed you before how we went into the creator dashboard, and we found that stream key that you need. So we went into preferences, channel, and that's how we got the stream key. So there's another toggle just down from that called Store Past Broadcast. You have to turn that on, and it will save it for up to 14 days. So it's not going to save it forever. It's not going to archive it forever. But that will give some time that folks who missed it can still go to the same place later in the week or even the week after and still be able to watch that Sunday's service. So if they weren't able, they had a doctor's appointment, or they, accidentally spilled coffee, on their living room floor, and they, weren't able to be logged in for the service, right at 10 o'clock and had to come in later. If you enable that option to store past broadcast, that will be available for them later for up to 14 days. So if you want it for more than 14 days, maybe you already know this, but there is a service called Vimeo, which I'll take you to our profile so you can see a little bit better idea of how this looks. So your most recent video will be at the top and it'll be big, and you'll have your other ones down here. You can see I've been very active. Vimeo will let you embed your video on your website. So let's take you over to that, and I'll show you what I've got set up here. So once my live stream is done, I change the module. So I deactivate the one that shows the live stream, and I just activate this other one that's ready to go. As soon as I'm done uploading, and update the link. But I pop up this other one that has the recording there, so that you can come in and you can watch that later on. And this is what we normally do, and so this is kind of like part of our normal pattern anyway. You can see some other stuff we got here. I know my Holy Week services thing is cluttered, and I need to make that look a little bit prettier, less like a block of text. This is just like a bit.ly link hanging out here. Sometimes you just do what you can. Sorry, I keep forgetting to let you actually see this. Okay, yeah, so you can see we've got our sermon video embedded here. My Holy Week stuff is looking kind of messy. Bit.ly link just kind of dropped in, not very elegant at all. Sometimes you just do your best, right? Just to get it there. It's findable. It may not look pretty, but it's findable. And if you just start with getting it on there, then you can come back in later and you can make it look a little prettier, but don't hold yourself to too high of a standard. The important thing is that people can get the links they need so they can connect when things are going on. So we've got a Wednesday fireside chat via Zoom. So I got the link right there that they can click on that on Wednesday and then get in there. We've got the link to the app for our centering prayer. So even though we're not having services in person, they can find the app that we're using to do that. Okay, there's one other thing in Twitch that you want to know. I'll make this totally full desktop. Okay. So you're recording attendance for your services. The other thing that you're going to need is to figure out how many people actually logged in. Well, you can't keep track of all that while you're leading the service, right? Like you can't just monitor that. So this is in the same place where we came before, right? For the video manager, and we preferences and channel, the same place where you found the stream key and where we just toggled the saving broadcast for 14 days. If you come up over here on the left side, click on Insights and hit Stream Summary, you will see our stream summary. And this number has gone up actually since our service ended, so I already recorded a number. But this will show you all kinds of information. Truth be told, I don't totally know what all this means. I can kind of surmise what all this means. Live views, to me, this is just the simplest, and this matches the number of views that we were getting when we were just doing this on Facebook. So that's the number that I'm recording. There's really nothing else that I need here, but if you need to go back in later and figure out how many people were viewing your live stream on Twitch, this is where you find it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Twitch. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to start from the beginning so you can see this one more time. All right. Up here in the top right, you click on your profile icon. You hit your creator dashboard. Up here in the top left, Insights, Stream Summary. And also from that same menu, you can hit Preferences Channel for your stream key and storing past broadcasts. So that's how you find all that stuff. I hope this has been helpful as we are all navigating this new reality of being the church gathered together online. Because the truth is, the buildings that are closed right now are the buildings that the church uses. They are not the church themselves. They are replaceable, sacred and beloved as they may be. The church is the people gathered in the name of Christ to pray, to love, and to serve. So may you be the church, and may you stay safe out there. Keep the faith, guys.